I read from a really wide range of genres. According to Storygraph, I read from 28 different genres last year. So here are 5 books I'd recommend from 5 different genres. From the romance genre, I'd recommend Hits Different by Tasha Guri and Lizzie Huxley-Jones. This is a young 20s coming-of-age story focusing on our FMC Cassie, who is a dancer and who is also deaf. This book follows Cassie to Ibiza, as she's given the opportunity to train to dance on tour with a famous pop star. Not only is this book about Cassie learning to have confidence in herself, but it's also about learning what healthy and supportive relationships look like. This book also taught me so much about the deaf experience. They managed to beautifully weave this information into the story without it being an info dump. This book does not get enough love. From the fantasy genre, I'd recommend Jade City by Fonda Lee. This is an Asian-inspired urban fantasy about 2 rival families who control the supply of jade, a stone that enhances a warrior's natural strength and speed, giving them superhuman abilities. And this book is set in a time where war is brewing between the 2 families. This book is incredibly well written. The world building, the plot, the characters, it's all top tier. This is also the first book in a trilogy, so if you enjoy this, you have 2 further books to read. I've only read the first book so far, but I hear it gets better and better with each book. From sci-fi, I'd recommend The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet by Becky Chambers. If you like found family, this is the book for you. This book is about the interspecies crew of a wormhole tunneling ship. They basically build shortcuts throughout the universe, kind of like tunnels under a mountain. As I said, the found family trope in this book was so well done. The bond between each of the characters was beautiful, messy, and complicated, just like in real life. This book was also very reflective, talking about the detrimental impacts of war and the technologies we use to fight them. It also looks at the impacts of greed and our priorities within politics. And despite that sounding very intense, the story also has a big cozy element to it as well. And if you've never read sci-fi before, this is a great introduction to the genre. From the Litfic genre, I'd recommend A Language of Limbs by Dylan Hardcastle. And this was a book that was sent by Verve. I've spoken about this book a few times recently, but it is one of the best books I have ever read. It's a queer story following 2 teenage girls over 3 decades. The choices they make lead them down very different paths, and their lives intersect at pivotal moments. This story also includes key moments relating to the history of LGBTQ+ communities in Australia, including the first Mardi Gras in Sydney and the AIDS crisis. The language in this book is absolutely beautiful, and you will feel every emotion under the sun reading this. Honestly, I can't recommend it enough. And finally, from historical fiction, I'd recommend Black Butterflies by Priscilla Morris. This book is about the siege of Sarajevo in 1992, which I knew nothing about before reading this. This story feels like a reflection on humanity. We look at the cruel pain that humans can inflict upon each other, as well as the resilience and community spirit that brings people together in times of need. This really focuses on the human connection and how people survive in extremely challenging situations. This was an incredibly impactful book, and unfortunately, it is so relevant to what's happening in the world today. This is a story that I'll remember for a long time.